Buying a gun, buying a Class 3 item, not sure what kind of paperwork to fill out? Well, I'm going to confuse the issue even more. This is Alan with Quarter Horse Arms, and in this podcast, I'm going to talk about some of the basic forms that you're likely to run across if you're buying firearms. Okay, so starting with order of importance, the first one's called a Form 4473. It's the ubiquitous document for firearms. So you buy something, the gun dealer puts their information, the gun information into it, and then you fill out your vital info, provide ID. They may have to run a NICS background check on it. If you have a concealed carry permit, that can avoid that. And then there's a bunch of attestations. You saying the gun's for you. You promising that you're not a fugitive from justice or addicted to dangerous drugs, and blah, 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 blah. And once you fill that form out and all the documentation's done, gun's yours. Do you have to fill this out for anything else? Hell yeah. Let's say you decide to go out and buy a suppressor. Once all of the other paperwork comes back to you and the gun dealer, then before you take it home, you fill out another 4473. Kind of like a mantra here. So Form 4473 is just basically for firearms purchase. And then there's a bunch of other forms. The most common one after that is called a Form 4. And this is what you would use and fill out with your gun dealer for transferring a Class 3 item to you. So once you purchase the suppressor, the paperwork has to be filled out, all of the vital information about the gun dealer, about you or the trust, if that's involved, and the weapon itself. All of those vital statistics get filled out onto that form. And then that gets sent in. Right now, you can do it electronically. This is the form where it's going to cost you $200 for every Class 3 item. Now, is it always $200? Well, yeah, pretty much for all intents and purposes. If, let's say something bad happens, like the owner of the suppressor is a family member and they die, you can have it transferred to you. That documentation is pretty much the same, but there's only a $5 fee. I figure they've already soaked the original purchaser for $200. And all they're doing is paperwork to make sure it's legal for you to stay in possession of that item. Okay. And then along with the Form 4 comes a responsible person questionnaire. So if you're using a gun trust, for example, every person in the trust has to have a responsible person questionnaire. And I know it sounds funky, but if you fill out a Form 4 as an individual, that means you own that weapon. If you're filling it out as part of a trust, so you started Billy Bob's Gun Trust, each person in that trust has to fill out a responsible person questionnaire, fingerprints, photographs, all that garbage. Okay. The other form you might see is a Form 1. So, let's suppose you did decide to make your own silencer, or your own short-barreled rifle, or short-barreled shotgun, or your own any other weapon, which, sillily enough, is a category. You have to register it with the ATF, and there's also a, surprise, surprise, a $200 fee or tax for that. And, the other two forms that you may hear of, Form 3 is basically used from gun dealer to gun dealer. So you live out in, the middle of nowhere, kind of like I do. You buy the silencer from me. Before I ship it to your local gun dealer, I have to do a Form 3 and let the ATF know that it's leaving my inventory and going to the other dealer's inventory. So that's something you generally wouldn't really deal with. And a Form 2 is, also designed for gun dealers mostly, is if you have the licensing that I do, which is I am FFL 7, which is a manufacturing gun dealer, and I'm an SOT, which is I've paid the extra money for a special occupational tax that allows me to possess and manufacture Class 3 items. So let's say, for example, I want to get into the manufacturing of submachine guns. I want to sell them to police departments or military or whoever. Well, not you guys, because that would be illegal. I would be doing a Form 2 to let the ATF know that, yes, I in fact have manufactured some weapons, or I have the intent to. Here are the serial numbers, blah, blah, blah. But the big ones you'll be dealing with, 4473, which is the actual purchase, meaning once it's done and approved, you get to take it home. The Form 4 when you're buying a Class 3 item. And the Responsible Person Questionnaire if you are doing something like a gun trust. All right, I know it seems kind of silly to go over the paperwork, but you know what? All the different forms are confusing. ATF even has forms if they show up and confiscate something, so presumably it's hopefully a receipt thing that they say they came and took away my toy, and there's a record of who took it and where it went. Okay, so that's the long and short of the forms. Most of those are e-forms at this point, so it's not a problem. And this is Alan with Quarter Horse Arms in Snow Camp, North Carolina. Look forward to hearing comments from you, questions, ideas for upcoming podcasts. And you can reach us at info@quarterhorsearms.com. Call or text 919-808-6480. And the website is quarterhorsearms.com. Be safe. Have a great day.